What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Virzi Effect Podcast Show. My name is Paul Virzi, and today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2020, and I am having an unbelievable guest on a very special episode live. Well, not live, but we're kind of live from the Stand Comedy Club on East 16th Street in New York City. Somebody that I recently worked with, even though we weren't doing the same scene. But I told you guys that I was going to have him on the show. He's an unbelievable, fantastic actor, even a better person. And let me make sure I get this right, and then you could correct me and tell me to fuck off after, okay? I believe the first thing he did was 15 Years Old, A Bronx Tale. Is that the first thing or no?
Correct.
Okay. You've seen him in A Bronx Tale. You've recently seen him as Fat Tony Salerno in The Irishman. You've seen him in The Wire. You've seen him in Boardwalk Empire, Ray Donovan, Entourage, and the list goes on and on. Ladies and gentlemen, the unbelievable Dom Lombardozzi, everybody. Give it up for Dom, everybody.
Thanks, Paul.
No, thank you, man. Thank you so much for jumping on the show. It's so cool to be, as a comedian, you get to go to all these different either events, venues, and then you get an acting gig, which I was scared shitless on to work with Judd Apatow. We'll get into that
Why
after.
were you scared?
Because that's not what I do. So it would be like, so here's why I was scared. It would be like if somebody said, Dom, you did kind of good in that stand-up thing. Why don't you come and do, imagine if you had to do 5 minutes of stand-up, and you were prepared and you knew, would you be scared?
I wouldn't come.
Yeah, exactly.
No way.
I knew well, here's why I was scared. And this is why I admire you guys, the way you guys, actors say what comedians do is the hardest thing.
I think so. I don't even think that's debatable.
I went to an acting class, and I was petrified every fucking time I went because I'd have to read a monologue in front of 10 or 12 actors who were judging me, and I never did it before, and I was scared. But I was recently in the new Judd Apatow, Pete Davidson project. And I was going to be directed by Judd Apatow. Mm. And they gave me my lines and my scene 3 months in advance. And I'm just like, oh, I'm getting a scene.
But it changed on the day.
Yeah, It's
Judd.
It's Judd, yeah.
Yeah,
so the day that I'm going to the lot. And I'm like, I'm on the lot now. And I got this little wagon trailer thing. Pete Davidson's over here. Bill Burr, Marissa Tomei are over here. Dom walked on the lot. That's where I first met him, and we talked. And all of a sudden they go, hey, those lines? Yeah, scratch that. Nobody likes that. So We're just going to, and I'm going, wait, but I'm going on and like, I'm going to set. Yeah, fuck it. Wing it. They'll add stuff. They'll throw you stuff. And I'm so petrified, and Judd couldn't have been nicer. But you've been acting since you're 15 years old.
Yeah. And
let me ask you this question. When you were 15 years old and you got A Bronx Tale, you were the gun salesman who got slapped in the face by Chaz Palminteri because he said you're going to get everybody fucking pinched, right?
Yeah.
You guys remember that? Like that was, yeah.
Cold day, too.
Well, okay.
It was a cold day. I remember it like it was yesterday. And, what's great about that is when they were casting for A Bronx Tale, it was like everyone from the 5 boroughs.
Right.
And I come from Arthur Avenue. I was born and raised on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx.
Okay.
And pretty much where that story takes place. So I wanted to play for the Yankees, you know. I played baseball. I was playing, you know, and there were lines going around blocks.
Wow.
Kids and parents
just
from
cold,
Staten Island.
cold audition.
Cold. And reading for all those various parts. And it kind of started with taking a Polaroid, because that's what they did back then. In 92, it was Polaroids. And Polaroid, then they would bring you in to read, see if you were able to read. Then if you were able to read, it's kind of like it dwindled. Cattle calls, and then it dwindled. And then it's you and 5 other people. Then it's you and 3 other people. And
that's cool.
And I'm like, I don't have a shot being in this movie. I have blonde hair, blue eyes. I look like Ricky Schroeder.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, I'm like, and they just kept calling me back. And originally, The part was called Nicky Four Eyes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was Nicky Four Eyes, and then I finally get the audition to go to Tribeca and read for Chaz and De Niro.
Wow.
And I'll never forget this. I go there, and I had already memorized the lines. And I walk in, and De Niro is at his desk, and Chaz greets me at the door. Once the assistant walks me through the door, they close the door behind me. There's Chaz.
Now you're scared.
No.
Wow. If I saw De
I
Niro
was
just
stupid.
sitting at a desk, I'd have been...
This is why I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about what you had mentioned.
Okay.
Okay? He goes, "Are you ready?" Yeah, I'm ready to go. But we do the lines, and then, okay. And I got the part, right? But my point is that feeling you had
Yeah.
when you were on the set,
Yeah.
don't ever lose that. Because
Right.
that is what keeps you, well, for me, because every project I did after that, it wasn't until I did my second, third movie that I kind of understood the dynamic. I understood I wasn't institutionally trained, so I never had anybody or a school or tell me, when you go to audition, this is what you have to do. This is what you need to do.
Right.
It's kind of like I fell down, I picked myself up, and I'm like, well, don't go that way.
Right.
Go another way.
Right.
And then if that didn't work, well, now there's two places I don't go to.
Right.
There's two things I don't do. So it was just very difficult because you need as much as you need confidence, that fear is what makes you work, what makes you prepare, what makes you say, okay, the thing is, you knew your lines.
Right.
You knew your lines,
I knew my
correct?
lines. Yeah.
Right?
Fucking cold.
Correct.
Knew them cold.
So now
Yeah.
you could play.
Right.
So
Yeah.
whatever he was throwing at you, you knew because you essentially you knew where your boundaries were.
Yeah.
Because you did the work.
Right. No,
And that work, it's not fear. It's not fear of going there, performing. For me, my fear is fearing I didn't prepare.
Right.
I don't mind stumbling a line.
Yeah.
I don't do it very often. But that's not my fear.
Okay.
My fear is driving to work that day, being in the makeup chair,
and not
going
being
to
ready.
set and saying, I should have took those 2 hours. I should have took those 3 hours. And I make it a point never to have. That's something that I never have to think about.
That brings me to what I wanted to say. And if you guys listen to the podcast, you listen to the Virzi Effect, and I appreciate anybody coming out and more people. If they trickle in, they listen, they know that my favorite quote ever is failure to prepare is preparing to fail. And anything you do in life, and I'm serious, and it sounds corny and it sounds cliche, that's a John Wooden quote. If you go in ready and prepared, and that's what made me afraid to work with Judd and be on that set, was I was ready and prepared, and then I went there and they just go, scratch that, we're going to just change it up. Mm-hmm. When I did Madison Square Garden with Burr, and there were 18,000 people and we're going in the round, the nerves are another level of going into an arena. Yeah. Right? Because I did theater, so I'm like, I could do a theater. I could do 2,000. I could do this. But then it's like everybody going, I'm coming to the garden. I'm coming to the garden. My mother's coming to the garden. My wife's coming to the garden. Everybody. And Burr going, this is, we did it before, but that's Madison Square fucking Garden. And the nerves. But then all of a sudden you go, I'm ready. I'm trained in this. This is what I do. I want to go in here, and I had to visualize. I remember Jay-Z said something. He was going into Madison Square Garden, and Jay-Z was talking to people, and he goes, hold on, I just got to go in my trailer for a little while and visualize myself tearing this place down. And that's the real thing. I just went in, and I go, no, I know the jokes. I got the energy. But that nervous thing, Frank Sinatra said he was nervous. He said, the day you're not nervous is the day in show business you're dead.
Quit.
Like when you think I got this, So I feel like being nervous means you are ready. People that don't care, people that show up late, those people are dead. I agree with that. But I want to get into this. We're sitting here on TVE with the incredible actor Dom Lombardozzi. Thank you so much for doing this. And you guys on an early Tuesday, but I wanted to get you on to talk about this. Mm-hmm. You just recently are in my opinion, a classic, The Irishman. I loved it. You played Fat Tony Salerno in The Irishman. They made you look like a 75-year-old. They made you look like a 75-year-old man. And the crazy thing is, not enough people know that was you, or people know, but like people that really are in the know that it was you. But that was like, how many hours of makeup? By the way, great job in that. Great job in that movie. Yes, great job in job in the Irishman. You were fantastic. And speaking of nervous, I was nervous to work with Judd Apatow when it's just me and Judd in front of a fire. This guy's sitting at the fucking table with Joe Pesci and fucking Robert De Niro in a full costume, and he's the one who actually was you, and you were running that scene because they came to you.
Exactly.
For like, if you like, they came to him, so you're sitting there, you're with two iconic dudes, and you're sitting there, all this makeup, and they're listening to you for you to deliver the lines. Mm-hmm. That's fucking nuts, dude.
Thank you.
That is nuts. Like, dude, if I just sat there, like, listen, like, I'm going, yeah, that guy did 40-Year-Old Virgin. You're going, yeah, that guy is in the guy. That's like fucking Vito Corleone, and this is Tommy from Goodfellas, and now it's my scene with them. But like you said, just prepared or nervous as shit too, or both?
Nervous.
Yeah.
Nervous. Here's the deal.
I love having an Italian on the show. Here's the deal.
It's because my first day of work was the banquet scene
with Pesci.
Pesci, when they were giving Frank Sheeran the award,
and they're saying that Hoffa's gone too far.
Right.
Right.
So it's probably, maybe, I think the third time we're having this conversation about that topic in the movie.
Okay.
So it's kind of like you're in the middle. So you had no build-up. You don't know what the build-up was. You don't know how far. So you got to find something.
Right.
Right. But that wasn't really the problem. The problem was it's a banquet scene and everybody's working. So you have Pacino there, De Niro there, Marty behind the camera. I got Ray Romano, I got Stephen Graham, I got everybody on my table. 2 tables down is Bobby Cannavale. I got Harvey Keitel, 2 tables to the right of me, and everybody's working. Anna Paquin, Jesse Plemons, everybody's working.
Wow.
This is my first day, and I didn't meet anyone because I was at work at 2:30 in the morning getting my makeup done, so when blocking came around, I would be ready.
Right.
So I didn't meet anybody. And I remember going there, and now Joe Pesci to me is everything.
Yeah, Joe Pesci's fucking,
he's every, I mean Al and Bob and...
What's your favorite Pesci character? Nicky or Tommy?
I like Raging Bull.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one, yeah.
I liked Raging Bull.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So go ahead. So Pesci, you're...
And I also like the character he played on JFK.
Was it the gay dude? Was he gay? Was he the...
Fester? Was it Fester?
And JFK was a great fucking movie.
It's like an enigma. You know, remember that? He's got the eyebrows.
Yes.
Right. And he was Fester. I think it was Fester. Anyway, my point being, while we were blocking, I had to remove all that.
Yeah.
I had to remove all that because I was playing a character in the movie that his reputation was more powerful than both of their characters.
That's crazy. So you're the most powerful guy in the room, yet your counterpart is Joe Pesci.
Exactly.
That's so you got to just block it and be like, forget that. That's crazy.
And
That's
it's
crazy.
hard to do with somebody who you grew up admiring.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a movie I haven't seen that Joe hasn't done. There's not, like, I know lines. I know I can imitate him. I could, like,
Yeah.
It's those kind of things, that, like, those fear things that we're talking about, those scare tactics, like, those are the things that you have to absorb them, but then you have to be able to let them go.
Yeah.
But that's what gets you on point. That's what makes you make certain decisions.
Yeah.
That's what made you make your decision.
Yeah.
When Judd was there, you knew what he was going to throw at you. You knew if he was going to throw at you'd be able to adjust. It's kind of the same thing.
When I was at the trailer and they said, Paul, scratch those lines, I walked away from my manager and I go, okay, then this is, if I was a fireman, these are the things that I would say. And then he said, we're going to do it this way 5 times, and then you could throw stuff out there. But, yeah, you're right about that. Now, I reached out to you, and I go, hey, man, great job in The Irishman. That was fantastic. And you go, oh, did it come across good? And then that's when I realized you like some other actors that I heard, you don't watch anything you do, right?
Worst. No, months.
Yeah.
Months I'm driving, and I'm reciting the lines in my head.
Yeah. No,
could have been this way. Could have done that.
It's like a comedian.
It's
comedians don't watch clips.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you
I don't know. It's just I never let go of it.
Yeah. So you said before you got a funny story about the Irish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So this particular day.
Yeah.
I'm in at 2:00, and everyone starts rolling in at 6:30, 6, and I see Ray Romano.
Yeah.
Who I know. I play golf with him. I know Ray.
Yeah. Great, by the way, Ray.
So
Ray's fucking
phenomenal.
If you ever want to know anything about Ray Romano, as cool as you think he would be, he's fucking cooler. He's the best.
He's one of a kind, man.
He's great, man.
And I get to the table, so everybody's starting to roll in for the blocking, and I go, hey, what's up, Ray? Hey, how are you, Ray Romano?
Yeah,
nice to meet you. I don't
yeah,
know, Ray.
yeah,
It's me.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
me.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
Domenick. No, really? He goes, where are you? I'm like, it's just the earlobes. just the earlobe. And I got Sebastian in the hallway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got Sebastian walking through. Hey, Sebastian, how you doing? Hey, how are you? How you doing, Sebastian? I was going, no, Sebastian, it's me.
Oh, he didn't know either.
No.
Nobody knew.
No.
How many hours of makeup every day?
4.5.
Fuck.
5. Some days 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's half a day. It's just you getting ready.
Well, Mike Marino, who was the guy, who's the best in the business. There were times where I would just say, "Look, I need a break, man. I gotta get out of this chair a little bit." So, whoever follows me on Instagram or Twitter know I put out some of these videos.
Yeah.
That we would just goof because it was just it's just a way of making it fun, you know.
Yeah.
And we put them out, and
that's crazy. You really did not.
Because I didn't think no one knew it was me in the movie. I think I might be the only one aged up in the movie.
Yeah. Did that suck press wise? You're like, no, fucking. It's like you're on the red carpet, like I'm fucking Fat Tony, you know.
I didn't go to. I missed every event for the Irishman. I missed the premiere. I was doing a movie called Boogie, and it was go to the premiere or be taken out of a scene.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't gonna jeopardize Eddie's vision,
right?
What he wrote. So I went to work. Then I missed the one in L.A. because I was shooting in Hawaii doing a guest spot. So I missed every event.
You missed every Irishman event,
everything.
And you're a huge part of the movie.
People really don't know it's me.
Right. Where's that guy? Where's Fat Tony die? Where is he?
Yeah, it's
Can I get another Pinot Noir? Is that cool? You want another?
Sure.
I'm gonna get to this in a second. If you guys have questions for us, we're gonna do that too during this because it's small and intimate. So think about what you want to ask Dom or myself or whatever. But I gotta ask you this question, man. Like, what was working with Scorsese? I couldn't do this I couldn't put this podcast out if I didn't ask you what working with Martin Scorsese was like.
Great,
as far
genius.
As like, really?
You know, it was great. One of the most beautiful things I witnessed, and it happened to me twice, acting. Where I was just in fucking awe of what I just witnessed.
What was it?
And one was with Michael J. Fox, separate story, and the second was this movie I'm shooting. It was the scene where we're in the Palmer Boys Club where I'm sitting on the chair like this.
Yes.
And I think it's the first time they
That's
come
the
to me.
first time they see you in the movie, yeah.
Yeah. And I have most of the dialogue, right? And I think maybe De Niro goes, right? and Pesci has a few lines, and I'm talking and I'm explaining everything, and Marty comes in and he goes, okay, all right, okay. So Bob, what do you think? We do three? We do three in a row? We do three? And okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll do three. Meanwhile, I have all the dialogue.
Yeah.
Not Dom, do you want to do three in a row?
De Niro's just nodding his head. That's great.
But here's the beauty. Marty, Bob, and Joe do not have to talk to each other. They do not have to. They just know.
What? Oh, okay.
Especially Bob and Joe. It's just they shoot a scene where we're sitting. One goes here, one goes here. Obviously, they're the best of friends, but it's almost like they work together telepathically.
Because of all the work.
It's beautiful to watch. They just pick up on each other. It's like a dance.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. It's an amazing thing to witness.
Can you give that's incredible. Can you give the Michael J. Fox one or no?
Yeah. We're doing,
Right,
I did an episode of when Michael had his show, his most recent show, and I was working with Wendell Pierce, and actually Malcolm Jamal Warner was in the episode, and we played these college buddies who, for Wendell's character, and we're sitting. It's like a dinner, and Michael has to give a speech to Wendell, and I don't know, Michael's condition that particular day.
Yeah.
But I think he was having a little bit of a rough time, and he was doing the scene, and he would certain place he would, whatever was happening was affecting it.
Okay.
And the scriptie would maybe call out a line as if he had forgotten, but he hadn't forgotten. It was just what was happening. And he stood there 27, maybe 25, 27 takes, just going, never stop. Just going.
Wow.
Just going till he got it. I was like, this guy's fucking amazing. My fucking hero.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts, dude. To watch that.
He's amazing, man. I played.
I heard nothing but great things about him.
Michael, beautiful man. That
That's-
takes a lot of heart, man. It takes a lot to say, hey, you know what? Let me regroup. Let me go think about this. Let me, He just stood there, man. Like
Yeah.
a fucking veteran. Just stood there, and didn't stop.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
How many guys after getting Parkinson's and after the money he made and what he accomplished would have just been like, you know what?
What
I'm gonna
he's
go
doing.
off. What?
Think about what he's doing.
Yeah, like that's just.
I think his foundation has raised the most money for Parkinson's.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
He's like a one-man team. I mean, and he really put that thing on a map for people. He's generating a lot of money, he's really bringing a lot of money into that research. I mean, the guy's just he's at every event.
And I heard he's
there.
funny and nice. Like I heard
He's
like positive. Like to be positive like that. Like you know, you get a break like that, you could become a bitter. You know.
I don't think there was ever a question about what type of person he was before that. I think he's always been that nice, cordial kind of guy. You know, and
you guys are listening to TVE with my very special guest Dom Lombardozzi. First time I saw Dom was first time I saw you, you were having, I guess, I was going to say sex, but make-believe sex with some chick in Entourage. Because that was like, do you know the scene I'm talking about? And I remember, what's it called, Matt Dillon going, she's faking it, right? Like, because all you heard in the background was her like, and they're going, I mean, come on, man, there's no way she would be making that. No, that was like the first time, but I remember when Turtle walked in, they all walked in from being out, and they just saw you and your bald head sitting there, and they go, Dom? Is that you? And I guess you came to visit, and that's like the first time. But I had no idea you were also in... I had no idea that you were in like Boardwalk Empire. Like, so does anybody here have a question for Dom? Does anybody here want to know anything? Or are you an actor, dude?
No, I'm not. No, I was going to ask about Entourage and like that experience. How was obviously that was probably my first experience seeing you, and you're one of my favorite characters in the whole show.
Oh, cool. So the question is, in case it doesn't pick up, because last time we did a live one, the question didn't pick up, and I know that I need to reiterate. So somebody out here asked the experience with Entourage. That was the first time that he saw you, and you were one of his favorite characters. And what was and that's a pretty legendary HBO show, Entourage. What was that like?
I have a history with that show because I remember when they were casting that show, and I was at some point supposed to be one of the characters in that show.
Oh, okay.
And
can of worms.
No, but
okay.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good because it's.
I should have been fucking Turtle. That's what I think about.
No, it was completely different.
Right.
It was a different. It was a It was a different show. Like a whole different sensibility. It was
the script and everything.
It was different.
Oh, okay.
It was a different show, and it was during the hiatus, I think, of going from season 2 to season 3 of The Wire. So I was in Los Angeles, and you know, just going through all these motions. Make a long story short, they changed the show. I wouldn't have been able to do the show because they picked up The Wire for the 3rd season. I mean, every season, David Simon went to L.A. and basically pulled a rabbit out of the hat.
Right.
You know, because every year we were like getting canceled. So, it's true. It's true. I still think David should have got a nod and an Emmy. I think it's pretty fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
That some of those actors weren't recognized, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
See him get mad there for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Right? He had to just take a breath and look aside and then go, okay,
you know,
now we can regroup.
The hypocrisy is real, man.
Yeah.
You know? And that character, it was in Miami, and I was shooting The Wire and Miami Vice at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Right, and then Miami Vice had gone over, and the season, I believe this 4th season, that's what it is. The 4th season of The Wire started.
Okay.
So we're overlapping, going back and forth. So I would work Miami Vice, get on a plane, go to Baltimore, work, get on a plane, go back.
How fucking much of a dream is that as an actor to be like, yeah, I had to go do The Wire, then I had to go
It's
do
not
Miami
good when
Vice.
you don't like to fly. It's tough, man. I was like fucking white knuckles. And
Still?
Are you
still? Oh, see, I don't like to fly either.
I
but
hate
will.
it. And
it's a controlled thing, but I was like that too. Then I just said, fuck it.
yeah, especially with this fucking virus going around now, forget it. Anyway, another thing I got to worry about besides turbulence.
This fucking virus.
I know where the
corona
turbulence
thing.
is all the time when I'm going to L.A. It's like over fucking Denver, you know. It's like I'm like, oh yeah, you know, and I'm in first class usually because they fly you first class and all that, and I'm like a fucking owl. on the plane.
That's so funny.
Red eyes. It doesn't matter what time I'm flying. If I'm on a red eye, I look around. Everybody's fucking sleeping in black and, in their little corner with their blankets over them. And I'm the only one awake.
You're just scared.
Because every time I lay down, I get to feel the plane a little more.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes me want to sit up.
Yeah, and you don't look like a guy that would be like, you look like the guy that when it bumped, you'd look at everybody and be like, fucking relax.
Yeah.
Instead you're the one panicking and everybody's out there sleeping.
Yeah, every airline should have like that one plane maybe from like 78 that is like, you know what, let's put this one in rotation. And you could smoke, drink, do whatever the fuck you want on that plane. Like it's 1978.
Yeah.
And just calm your nerves.
You'd be smoking like a chimney on the fucking plane. Oh, yeah.
Fucking cloud everywhere,
Could you imagine
man.
that they allowed that? Where you just bring a pack of butts and you smoke it?
They used to do that.
Yeah, oh, my God. That'd be
I
hilarious.
remember the first time I was on a plane. There was smoke and it was,
So you were flying back and forth from The Wire to Miami Vice, and then this is all the while when you get the Entourage
right.
part.
So then Doug Ellen says, "Oh, Doug and Steve Levinson and Wahlberg. They said, we're definitely at some point we're gonna do something. We want you on the show and whatever."
That's the equivalent. You know what? That's the equivalent of a comedian getting a special, getting a late night, and then your manager going, "Oh yeah, and also you're gonna go do this movie part," and you're just flying everywhere. Like you had, that's insane, dude. And you're still doing it now, which is like you got that And you're like the comic that just continues to keep going and getting better. You just get steady work as an actor, and that's all you could fucking ask for, right? Is to get in these parts and get better at the craft and work with all these different directors. Right?
It's great. I had this conversation with Bill Burr
yeah.
on the phone, and I'm like, "Yeah, Bill, it is what it is. I'm a fucking journeyman. Well, if you fucking tell everybody that's where you are, that's what it's gonna be."
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't fucking say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, Bill.
But the journeymen are the ones.
I didn't know it was a bad thing to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But
oh, that's Burr.
It's Burr, man.
Virzi, you don't talk it into it. Yeah. He's a fucking.
I did him no justice. That was a horrible.
Yeah. No.
But we both love Bill.
I love Bill, man.
But so they write this part and they're like, "Hey, listen, we wrote this out. He's gonna probably do a couple of episodes, and remember this: I only did 3 Entourage episodes. 3.
And that's how memorable they were. That's crazy.
Right, which is weird, which is crazy, and I don't know how Doug knew this, but I didn't. They said I said, yeah, all right, just work it out with The Wire and work it out with Michael Mann. Good luck. And I'll see you in L.A. if we're able to do it. I don't read the fucking script.
What?
I didn't read the script till I got to my hotel, the London. I'll never forget it. And I was exhausted. And I'm flipping through this thing. I'm like, I'm doing what? I'm wearing what?
Oh yeah, because
I'm like, I called Doug. I said, they're gonna hate this guy. I said, I fucking hate him.
You hate?
And his name, and he has my name. And he's like, yeah, he goes, listen, this is what it is. And that's where I shut it off. And he said, I want this character to come into the show and turn their world upside down, basically to try to give some authenticity to who these guys were before they got to Hollywood.
And where they come from, right.
And a lot of people in the beginning, I think, didn't understand that, because what happens with these type of shows, Entourage, Sex and the City, you can't, that group, those guys, those women, they are beloved.
Yeah.
Anybody trying to come in and wrinkle that is it's not a good thing.
So you had fans not liking you because of that character?
No, I would get this. I would get this. And Jerry will tell you.
Yeah.
Fucking hated you, man. Because, you know, I'm really good friends with Jerry, so I'll either be playing golf with Jerry, or I'm at dinner with Jerry, or fucking having a cup of coffee someplace, and oh, Jerry, loved you, man. Fucking hated you. But, hey, you know, you did your thing. You did your thing. But fucking hated you.
Yeah.
And I got that. And I got, you know, that the same thing happened with Herc on The Wire.
Yeah.
That
means you're good at what you do.
It is, but it makes the job, you know, because you're no different than that person when you're reading it. You know, when I was doing The Wire, I would, first couple of episodes, okay, this is the type of guy, somewhat of a comic relief, you know, never really, him and Carver really can't really do the right things. But the real story behind all that is these two cops, they tried to do right, even though they had really bad action. What they were trying, because it's to show you how difficult it is in some of these cities. Yeah. To get a wiretap up, to get that guy who you know just killed 3 people or was giving a bunch of kids drugs. It's very difficult to get a judge to sign a piece of paper to say, yeah, go get that guy. Yeah. So I started to understand that. Yeah. But then you're playing a character, and in The Wire, you notice a lot of characters don't change. Right. You are who you are. Yeah, yeah. You know, you're 20-something. You are who you are. In that world. Yeah. It's not, oh, you know, I had, you know, a revelation, and I'm going to be nice to everybody now. It didn't happen on that show. Yeah. You know, there was no room for hope on that show. If you represented hope, you were dead. You died. That's crazy, man. You died. Think about it. No. Think about every character that died on that show and what they represented. Yeah. No, in that world, you can't. You're not going to grow and change. No. It's just, you got to survive and live. Yeah. And that's David. That's David's genius. Yeah. I just did The Deuce with David. I did a little arc on The Deuce, and I played a real guy. And I remember we were shooting the scene. He goes, you know what? You know, just stay here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a drip, because there's a crack in the ceiling, and it rained, and the water came off the light, and it dripped into your coffee, but you don't fucking care. You don't care that it went in your coffee, because you want to prove to this guy that you're you don't care. Yeah. You're a different breed. That's his genius. Yeah. That's his genius. That's so cool, man. That's so cool. Off the cuff. And that's you know, I've been very fortunate in my career to work with guys who think outside the box. Yeah. And some of the baddest, talented people. No, dude, you were in those shows, and blessed,
you were in
really
and
blessed.
Scorsese, and you got to be with directors that and actors, and in the future it's gonna make so much. This is fascinating, man. Thank you so much for giving these stories. So one thing that I wanted to let everybody listening to this know is you very graciously invited me to your home, and I didn't know this is what Dom does when he's not working. Okay, so we'll get away from acting for a second. This lunatic has like baby bulldozers in his backyard. He just dug his own in-ground pool. Like he did it. Like he was just like, I want a pool. And he wasn't like, he just fucking like, and I remember Berg telling me, Berg goes, yeah, dude, he did that. Like, and I just like looked in your backyard and I just saw like all of these like tools and vehicles, and you were like, yeah, what am I gonna do when I come home? And I'm like, I don't know, not fucking build a pool. Sit in your house and be psyched that you don't have to worry about a script. But you're one of those guys that like, I'm not building a fucking, you're just one of those guys that like you just have to do something, right? I have to do something, but I love you know, there's people that paint, you know, there's people that write, and eventually, hopefully one day, but that's But I do construction in my off time. But I like building things. I like, you know, carpentry. I gutted my whole house. I did the work myself. A few places, just so the town's listening, I didn't do the electrical.
So that's coded. I didn't do any of that, and I didn't do the plumbing.
That's coded.
Everything else, I just want to go on the record. I did that.
Yeah.
But none of that other stuff, because you don't,
Yeah.
just so you know, Paul, you don't want to do your own electric.
I don't want to do fucking any. I'll be honest
right.
with you. When I'm done doing stand-up and traveling, I don't want to do shit. I come home. I like to pay somebody to take care of it. Like, I'm not even kidding when I tell you he had like a baby bulldozer that like he just manned and dug a hole.
Bobcat.
Yeah, he had a bobcat, and it was like, well, that's impressive shit to be like, because I'd love to get one of those, but if I dug it up, it would be like, I mean, it would, like, Paul, what does it go from, like 3 to 10?
The digging
like
is
1.5 to 4,
Yeah.
then to 8. I just want to say thank you. We have somebody here in the audience, and say your name. What is it? Rocky. Rocky is here in the audience, and
Thank you, Rocky.
So nice and really lovely of you. She brought us these bags. I don't know what's in it, but I know it's something that's probably not good for my diet, you know. But I appreciate it, and it's very nice of you to support and bring that. So,
Absolutely.
So yeah, so thank you for that. If anybody has any questions, or let me ask you this real quick: do you what you got? Anything else coming up? What do you got coming up?
Movie called Boogie. The
Okay.
King of Staten Island with Pete
Yes,
Davidson.
King of Staten Island with Pete Davidson.
And I'm going to be doing a little recurring on Billions.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, something very small.
Well, let me ask you this: is Broadway something? Is a Broadway thing something that?
Down the line, there's something that I want to do. I would love to probably do Marty.
Do what?
Marty. Marty was a movie that Bernine did. I think it was 1950 something.
Oh, you're gonna do it? Okay.
Ernest Borgnine, and he won. I think he was either nominated or he won an Oscar for that. But it's kind of, it seems like a good maybe two-hander or one-man show kind of thing. But I don't come from that.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different. So I want to be able to go do it at a time where I guess maybe I get accepted or I could possibly get it done. But
Yeah.
right now,
I feel like doing that. I feel like doing a Broadway play for an actor is kind of like a comic doing like stand-up. Like I saw Ed Harris in To Kill a Mockingbird with my wife.
Unbelievable.
And he just can't. And I was just like, it was the first time, because I'm not a musical. I can't do musicals. I can't. Like they break out into song. No, I'm serious. Like I've done it, and I went with my wife, and they burst out into song over everything, and I can't. But To Kill a Mockingbird was like watching a movie on stage. Like I was just watching, and Ed Harris is like, he's sitting on his front stoop, and he's doing everything, and it was like, and he's like nailing these lines, and I was just like, that's got to be for an actor. That's got to be on the bucket list.
He take over for Jeff, right?
He took over for Jeff Daniels, yeah.
Yeah.
And and we went in, and here's how fucking I got distracted because I have that comedian mind. So I'm just sitting there for the whole thing, and the end is unfolding. And I don't know if you guys know the story of To Kill a Mockingbird. The end is unfolding, right? And all of a sudden, I just go to my wife, because I just blanked out. I go, wait, so the son did it? And my wife just goes, but we're going to talk about it outside. Because I fucked up, and it clearly wasn't the son. But for 1 second as they were doing it, and then I kind of put it together. But I got to tell you, watching Ed Harris come out and like people start clapping, and you're like, oh, that's a dude I saw from The Rock and this movie and that movie. And then he's right there doing a play.
Well, look at Denzel. Denzel does it too. Denzel did it recently with Fences, and he's done it a couple of times actually. Because I think there comes a time where maybe they're at that stature, and somebody say, you know what? I need to do this. I need to do this for myself, and I could understand that. Obviously I'm not in a position to get it done like they can.
Yeah.
But eventually, I think before I finish my career, that's something I need to do.
I want to see Dom Lombardozzi. Guys, we're here with Dom Lombardozzi on the Virzi Effect podcast. The Irishman, The Wire, Entourage, Boardwalk Empire, all these amazing shows. I want to see you in a comedy, like a second lead in a comedy where he's just the over the top fucking. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be. Have you done any comedies?
I did
I know you're doing the Judd one, but the Judd.
Not really.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, Dom and Entourage, It's
Yeah.
more like straight comedy, I would think. Funny situations, scenarios.
You were definitely the comic relief in that for sure.
But I did a pilot for Phil Rosenthal called The Winklers, with Henry Winkler, Judith Light, Eva Martino, Susan Sarandon's daughter, Max Winkler, and it's kind of loosely based on Henry Winkler's life and his son-in-law, who married his daughter, who's kind of not like the Hollywood kind of guy. And I remember we shot the pilot. We did it in front. It was a multicam. We did it in front of the audience, and it's kind of had that rhythm, joke, you know.
Yeah, it was just
traditional.
Yeah.
Like almost like Everybody Loves Raymond kind of thing. And I loved it. I was so bummed when it didn't get picked up, but I was like, I could do this, and I loved it.
Who's the most, other than Pesci, because I know you were sitting across the table from Pesci, who's the most intimidating actor that you ever, how was Pacino intimidating or no?
No, those guys, De Niro I felt very comfortable with because it was the third time I've worked with him.
Right. And he helped you get into A Bronx Tale, did he not? Or
well,
he
Chaz, and it was his directorial debut, so yeah, of course. And then I wind up doing a movie called The Family, where I didn't really work with him, but we were in the movie together, and I got to see him there. And I think, to be perfectly honest, I think Bob had a lot to do with me being in The Irishman, because I like everybody else, I submitted a tape. I went in for Alan Lewis, and I had to wait.
Yeah.
I had to wait.
I think if you could call him Bob the way you just did, I think that's fucking incredible. I'd be like, Mr. De Niro, sir, can I walk in this room? Or never mind, I'll be outside throwing up. So that's, dude, for me, I asked Jerry this question. Jerry Ferrara was on the podcast. I asked him this question, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Jerry answered it. And if you don't want to answer it, I guess don't answer it. Here's a question I always ask. I say Pacino or De Niro, and I'll give my answer. My answer is always, I think, the greatest actor that I've ever seen, except for that he went through a little 8-year spurt where he screamed the whole time. But I'm a Pacino guy. I think Al Pacino is one of the greatest ever. So if you had to go, and I know you're going to be biased because you're friends with the guy and he helped you. No? Who do you say?
Pesci. I told you, Pesci.
That's a great answer. No, I'll answer.
Pesci's my guy,
worries.
man.
Pesci, yeah. Pesci's a fucking animal.
Tell me, here you go. Name one movie. Name one scene. Ready?
Yeah.
Name one scene that Joe Pesci was in that you couldn't take your eyes off of him. And whether he was sitting next to De Niro, or he was in an Oliver Stone movie and Kevin Costner was there, or whatever.
Even the Casino.
Brendan Fraser, or
Funny
Macaulay
How.
Culkin, or
Funny
whoever.
How is one of the most iconic.
He's the best.
Yeah. Funny How could go down as not only one of the most. Here's what was amazing about that. How am I funny? And then he gets all. No, you fucking said it. It went from funny to drama. Like he made something, a joke, turn to like it got like dark and cold. Like, is he gonna hurt this guy? And then to a laugh. That's one of the fucking. That's unbelievable, man. Yeah, he's nominated for The Irishman, which he played a part.
And I think he was the best thing in The Irishman.
Yeah.
I think we got to see Joe completely flip the script, because usually, I mean, his stillness and his consistency in that character throughout the whole movie, from the very beginning to you see him hunched over the hood of the car,
he had that
to the
calmness.
time you see him at the very end where he's having that talk, and he's consistent.
Yeah,
he's consistent.
And when he said,
people thought you were gonna see Joe Pesci yell.
Yeah,
that's what people thought.
Yeah, when he said, we did everything we could for the man. And he was just eating, and De Niro's character is just looking at him. He kind of did have that same.
I chose us.
Fuck him. He said it 3 times too.
I chose us.
I chose us. No, he goes, Jimmy was a good man.
Right.
He goes, I chose us. He goes, fuck him. fuck him, and he was like shaking, dipping the thing, and yeah, that was insane, man. Like the dream is to you did the dream. You did the dream. You worked with Scorsese, De Niro, Pacino, and Pesci. Like that's I've talked to people.
See, for me, one of the biggest highlights in my career was working for Sidney Lumet. Because Sidney Lumet is my favorite.
Okay.
So I mean Marty. I love Marty and Sidney both, you know. But at a very young age, it was during when I was shooting The Wire, I got to work with Sidney Lumet, and the guy pretty much gave me the job in the room.
Oh wow.
And before I had read his book already, and if anybody in this business, whether you be a writer or an actor or you know, director, you want to read Sidney Lumet's Making Movies.
Okay.
It's probably one of the 5 books you should be reading.
So check that, guys.
Yeah.
It's called Making Movies.
Making Movies. And Serpico, Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah.
The Verdict. 12 Angry Men.
Yeah.
It's,
I got
the guy was the best.
I got a question for you. Do you remember an awful audition you had where you just fucking bombed it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where you just walked out like, oh my God, there is no way I'm getting this fucking movie ever.
It was so bad.
Isn't it funny how I asked him that question and he went right to his eyes? He went right to that memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
I was flustered. I remember going there and I think it was like 13, whatever the fuck that building was. Hated it. 23rd Street. And
he remembers 4A. I swear to God, the elevator took forever.
it's like one of those loft places, 9 fucking different things going on, and it was like a cattle call, man. It was like I remember my appointment being at 3:30, and here it is 4:15, and I'm just sitting there, and that's death. That's death for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
But you just you messed up lines or?
I started it out. I maybe got 2 or 3 lines, and I said, you know what? I'm leaving.
Really?
I got up. I said, thank you for your time, but I'm leaving. And I left.
You did what they normally do when it's bad. Well, they'll be like, you know what? Thank you so much. Thanks for You just stopped it and left?
Wait, I'll tell you the movie when we're not on here. But yeah.
Yeah. What movie was it?
I'm not, you know.
Oh, you can't tell.
I don't know. That one I need to keep close to the.
That's so
close to the
funny,
vest.
though. I love how you cut it short. You know what? I don't have it today.
No, yeah. And I actually had 2. Another one, I had no business going on, and I was right for the role. I just should have stayed home. And one of your fellow comedians, it was one of his shows, Papa.
Tom Papa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Tom, just you could have read the lines. You could have read your part that time.
Okay.
But just kidding, Tom.
You could have read your lines, Tom.
Yeah, instead of sitting in the back, could have read your character. Anyway, I had 103 fever, fighting the stomach flu. It was pilot season.
Oh man.
And it was one of these deals. You know, it has to. He has to come in. You know, we're moving fast.
Yeah.
They're always moving fast.
Yeah.
Right? Which means they don't know what the fuck they want and what they're doing.
Right.
So I go in. I'm like sweating. I'm afraid that I might have to run and go to the bathroom. I was really messed up, man. And I go in, and it's just not. It's just not working, man.
Yeah.
It's just not working. That was a bad one. But then I wound up getting the Winklers.
I had a really bad one. I talked about this on the show a long, long time ago. I went in for a Dennis Leary show, and
Which one?
You're gonna be a delivery. It was I think it was the one Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So they go, you're gonna go and you got to deliver a pie for the drummer who was actually Bobby Kelly.
Right.
And his character's name was Bam Bam.
Perfect name.
His name was Bam Bam, and I had to deliver a pepperoni pizza, and they're going to open the door, and when they opened the door, I had to, like, hesitate and be like, I got a delivery for Mr. Bam, and I had to, like, delay the whole thing. So I go, you know what? I look New York, I look delivery driver, I'm going to go with a Yankee hat on, right? So, like, I make that move. Like, I want them to see the delivery guy. I'm going to come in, Yankee hat, and look like this New York delivery kid. I walk in, right when I walk in. Excuse me, sir, can you please take your hat off? Like, rudely. So I go, well, that was a bad decision. Right?
Well, who told you that?
The casting director, like the casting, you know what? Take the hat off so then I'm like, oh, we want to see you take the hat off. Then I'm flustered. I'm fucked up now. I'm going, shit, I already don't have it. It was already fucked up. And then I take the hat off and I put it to the side, and then they go, okay, say your name, but don't look at the camera, but I'm still thinking of the hat. So then I look at the camera, and the guy goes, sir, I said don't look at the camera, and then I'm going, I got a pie.
Can you show me? What? Can you show me what looking at the hat is?
No, I'm thinking of the hat.
Oh, you're thinking of the hat.
I'm thinking of the hat, and he goes, don't look at the camera, say your name. But now I'm like, they already hate me because of the hat. So then I just go, yeah, Mom, Paul Virzi, this and that. And he goes, sir, please don't look at the camera. So now I got 2 strikes before I read a fucking line.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I have a delivery for a Mr. Bam. And he goes, can you just hesitate on the Bam. And now I'm like, it's over. And I do it. And they just go, okay, thanks so much. I mean, I walked out and I just called my manager and I go, yeah, that went as bad as it could possibly fucking go. Like, when like there's Andy Steinberg is here. He's a comedian, Andy, back there from Arizona. Andy, when you kill and you walk out and you go, you kill. It's the same thing when it's bad. We know when it's bad. When I tell you, I'm going, maybe since this is acting, the feeling is not the same.
Right.
Maybe I didn't bomb. Dude, I bombed it to the point where they were like, that was a waste of our 4 minutes. I came in with a stupid hat on thinking I was a delivery driver. And it was just, and I go, but you know what? It kind of made me go, you know what? Now the next time, I'm going to feel like a little more bulletproof. A little more like thicker skin. Be like, and that's what the scary thing about acting is. But let me ask you this. Don't you feel like casting directors know? I asked the JFL, Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal. So just so you know, that's the number one. If a comedian goes to JFL, Just for Laughs in Montreal, that's basically like, that's a very big nod, okay? And and I asked the booker who I became friendly with after I got it, I said, wait, he goes, when we audition a comedian, we know in between 30 seconds, he grabs the mic, and we know, and there's just a thing. I bet you it's the same. When you go in for a read, right, and they're like, okay, Dom Lombardozzi, and you go and you grab your thing and you do a read, they probably know it in the beginning, right? What?
Grab what?
You do a read for an audition.
What are you grabbing?
What's that?
What are you grabbing?
What do you mean, what am I grabbing?
You say, and you grab.
No, I'm saying you go in for an audition and you grab the script. I mean, that's what I was going to say. You grab the script.
I don't bring it.
You don't bring it?
No.
So you go in knowing.
Yeah, I don't go. Yeah, I just start making shit up.
And then you'll improv, you'll add.
Yeah.
And do you know when you're killing it right away?
I don't know how you could act when you put your I don't know how you're gonna act
when you put your head down.
When you put your head down.
Yeah. So do you walk in as the dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with a fucking professional actor. I'm like, you got a question?
Yeah, just for you, Virzi. Did you keep that New York hat, or did you throw that shit away?
Yeah. It's like, fuck this, I'm a Met fan now.
The question.
Because if you had the Met, what borough were you in? Was it fucking Queens?
No,
because you're Queens. They're all Meth fans.
The question was, did I keep the Yankee hat? I don't know. I just put it on in disgust. You want to know a funny thing? Did you guys ever see the John Gotti Jr. story where John Gotti Jr. talked about how his father was his hero and his father was in jail, and all he looked up to was his father. His father was his world, was the king, and his father gets out of jail, walks in his bedroom, and sees a Mets poster. And he goes, the Mets, huh? He goes, I'm a Yankee fan. And he walked out. He said he ripped the poster down and never liked the Mets after that. Does anybody, before we get out of here, this has been, I mean, some of the insight.
John Gotti called like athletes and stuff like garbage pails.
What?
Like that. There's what was when I think like Victoria Gotti was visiting him, and have it on the surveillance, and she brings, I don't know which one of those sons up there, and he's like, yeah, I'm on the team, football. Yeah, why you want to be an athlete? A bunch of garbage pails, something like that. Like,
I remember one.
You got to do steroids. You got to do this. You got to do it. You want to do steroids? You want to be a garbage pail?
One time she came in and told him in jail that one of his grandsons, one of her sons, was being bullied, and he goes, "What?" He goes, "What?" He goes, "Don't they know who I am?"
Yeah.
Don't they know who I am?
Yeah.
He was like, I know, Dad. I don't know what to tell you. Does anybody here have anything for Dom? You know, because we're on TVE with Dom Lombardozzi. You could check him out. It'll be in the upcoming Judd Apatow. That's where I met him, the movie that I did with Judd, and he'll be in that. He's got another movie coming out, Boogie, and you guys know, you've seen him obviously on Ray Donovan, The Wire. He's been here telling some great stories. It's great to talk to. Thank you so much for doing the show. Who's got a question for Dom?
I got a question about you didn't see it. I know you said you didn't see it, but the show after it premiered on Netflix, they had like a round table.
Oh, the round table. Yeah, yeah. Right.
But I noticed that there was like a disconnect with Pacino, like in that round table. Was there, or is Pacino part of that crew or not?
Let me just reiterate the question.
We're acting, we're not really. I didn't seem to be a disconnect.
So for the listeners listening on the podcast right now, and by the way, this podcast should be out either tonight on the 4th or tomorrow on the 5th, but the question was, in the round table that Netflix did with the actors of The Irishman, which they all sat down, did it seem like when you were working with them, is Pacino, since the other ones you said are like they know each other, they don't have to talk, did Pacino seem like an outcast or just kind of separate or not?
I don't think he was treated as an outcast. I think Pacino was trying to probably, then again, you know, all my scenes were with Bob and Joe. So I could only speculate the relationship between Marty, Joe, and Bob. Like I'm telling you, it's on another level.
Yeah,
it's on another level. It's not nothing to do with not respect. The respect for Al. You know, Al is the veteran there.
Yeah.
You know, I think Marty, Al. I think Marty, Bob, and Joe, at that particular time, were all 76 years old. I think they're all the same age. Al is a little older.
Yeah.
Al had never worked with Marty before. I think it's the first time that Al worked with Joe.
Yeah.
And I think over the years, they probably had projects that they tried to do together. You know. I think it's one of those things, you know. I think Bob was always Marty's guy, and, you know, De Palma had Al, and, you know, it's just they did different things. But the respect, I mean, those guys.
Sounds like it would be like a clique of comedians that always hang, and then another one they really respect coming in on a project or something.
No, I would look, and, you know, I remember because on the days there was Bob and Al were there while I was doing the scene with Joe. And then when they called cut, Al would be talking to Marty, Al would be talking to Bob, come up to Joe. So they're all friends. I mean, they have nothing but respect for each other, you know. But
I want to see you come out. This is what I want to see Dom do. I swear to God, if I fucking write something, I want to see you come out as the father in a robe and slippers, and the daughter introduces the boyfriend, and you don't talk much, but you just look up and down with the utmost disrespect and fucking hate the guy and say a couple of fucking killer lines and walk away.
Didn't Gandolfini do that already?
Yeah, that's right.
He did
do that. Oh, now that's another guy.
That guy really, to me, is...
I heard off screen was, like not working was still
incredible. I never got... People are like, yo, you never auditioned for The Sopranos. You were never on The Sopranos. I was like, no, I was on this other show that nobody knew at the time. You know, the one that never got nominated. And I love kidding about it, but what Gandolfini did was tell everyone and people in our business, and it was a ballsy fucking move on David Chase's part and HBO's part, taking a guy. Now, great, I'm not degrading James, but he didn't look like every other leading man.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? He looked like your cousin. He looked like your uncle, right? Open doors for Steve Buscemi, open doors for everybody, the regular guy, and that guy could lead a show.
Yeah. And
women, you didn't need to be Julia Roberts. You didn't, it's important things. Those are important things in our business where things change. Yeah. Things are always changing in this business.
Oh, dude! I mean, in comedy too, everything is changing. It's
been happening for years. It happens in music. It happens in cultures. It's always
everything's evolving, man. Comedy is it's happening too. No, I heard Gandolfini. I heard David Chase saw Gandolfini beating up Patricia Arquette in True Romance, and that's what did it.
Yeah, but did you know that James walked out of his first audition?
No.
Said, you know what? I fucking suck. That's it. I'm sorry for wasting your time. And he left.
What?
Yeah. Left.
And in True Romance?
No, in Sopranos. His Sopranos audition.
Oh, his Sopranos audition. He walked out.
He's like, I'm sorry, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And David brought him back.
Wow.
And that's how much of a perfectionist he was.
It must be an Italian thing, because you cut your thing short.
What?
Yeah, you know what? Nah, sorry, I don't have it today. Does anybody else have anything for? Okay, what do you got, man?
Just you've worked with some really great actors and producers and directors. Is there somebody you're excited to work with, look forward to working with, you hope to work with?
I'll say this. I'm really looking forward to working with Damian Lewis. And like Brian Koppelman and David Levine, because I think Billions is one of those shows that has progressively gotten better. So I'm kind of excited. I'm glad I got to work with Eddie Chang on Boogie. I love doing those independent movies. I work with. Like I said before, I've been blessed. I work with, Marty. I work with all these great people, all these people that I admired for years and years. But Liev on Ray Donovan.
Oh shit.
Was. Yeah, man, I gotta tell you.
Who's the baddest motherfucker you worked? I'm not seriously. Now I want to know real quick. Who's when I mean
most challenging?
No. I don't mean the most challenging.
Role?
I mean the baddest motherfucker. I mean the dude walks in and he's just calm, cool, owns the room.
Fucking Pesci, man.
Dom. I could ask Dom anything. Dom, if you had to be in a foxhole, World War II, Pesci. It's gonna be Pesci. It's gonna.
Pesci.
Dom, you're going to space. It's an experiment by the U.S.
I want Pesci because he's light. He won't suck all the oxygen.
Oh man, this was so great, man. The insight on this, because like a lot of times we talk about comedy on the podcast.
Liev is an animal.
Is he? Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
He's great as Ray Donovan. He's great as Ray
He's-
Donovan. Oh, is that what you're
He's
gonna-
Ray Donovan, man.
What it was like to work with him?
How you look at him and like, dude, that guy's cool.
Yeah.
It was, you know, me and Liev, two different type of people, two different type of actors. Our approach is differently, but doesn't change the respect, because you have to somehow respect people's process. I'm sure it's the same thing for comedians, right? Everybody works differently.
Right.
Some people write, some people don't write.
Yeah.
You know, some people go to stage, they work their material. It's kind of off the cuff. Other people need to write it, right?
Yep.
It's almost like the difference between Biggie and Tupac. One wrote, one didn't write. With Liev, they were just two great characters. You know, just the dialogue between them, that relationship with them. And it was very tough playing the weakest guy in the room. Being 220 pounds and being the weakest guy, emotionally the weakest guy in the room. And I remember, because that was a crucial part of the audition. And we read, I think they had written the first 5 episodes. I was only supposed to do 4 episodes. And it was a very, I remember, this is another good story. You have time?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll
Okay.
finish up. Yeah, with this story.
So I was doing a recurring. I was doing the pilot for Magnum in Hawaii.
Okay.
And so the breakdown. So what the agents were, what the casting directors were telling the agents, yeah, it's a cop from New York. So my agent's like, okay, well, it's a fucking no-brainer. Just offer it to him. It's kind of like a no-brainer, right? No. Kept going. No. I said, well, did you tell him in fucking Hawaii? He's like, yeah, we told him. They said they'll wait till you get back. I said, really? I said, maybe I should look at this. And I looked, I said, this is just not a New York cop. There's more here. And I remember that 12-hour flight coming back, because my audition was the next day. I remember just looking at that stuff. And David Hollander, who is a fantastic showrunner, fantastic writer, I had to do the audition, and I remember doing it, and the guy went with me.
he went in the direction you went.
He had my back. He went with me. He saw the vulnerability.
Okay.
And because it's not on the nose. You don't expect someone that looks like me and you
Yep.
to be emotionally the weakest guy in the room. It's just you expect a different type of person, and he needed to see it, because normally I was playing the heavy.
Yeah.
Was the heavy all the time, and that role, and working with Liev, and Liev is one of the best actors of our generation, man.
Wow. How was he off screen? Like off?
It's just we're very cordial with each other. It's just he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's just a good guy, but more importantly, you're talking about a guy who knows his show inside and out. The guy is a pro.
Yeah.
He's a pro.
Yeah, that's that's great, man.
And it's the same thing with De Niro. It's the same thing. I remember doing a scene with De Niro, my hat. Wardrobe had played with my hat, and they did a certain thing with it. And he goes, hold on. And he fixed the brim of my hat before they called action. Just
What?
like a slight fix.
De Niro did?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
dude, I would have been like,
All right, let's go.
fuck, did I retire? That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all this. For people that don't know Dom, okay? For the people that don't know, check out The Wire, check out Entourage, check him out as Fat Tony Salerno in The Irishman, because he fucking stole scenes. And like that's the consensus out there. People didn't know when you were on there. And I'm gonna tell you, the one scene that you guys gotta watch is when they are in the banquet for Frank Sheeran. And Hoffa's there. When they're in that thing and Pesci is saying, and he's going, yeah, that's what they're saying. And he's owning the scene with him and Pesci. He's owning the scene. It was fantastic. You know, I can't thank you enough. Normally on the show we do Unacceptables. We talk about sports. We talk about certain things that I just saw. But this is a special episode. This will be out tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank all you guys for hanging out. The people that weren't here, fuck you, you missed it. Okay, but you were fantastic.
Thank you, Paul,
and
man.
Check them out, guys. This weekend, I will be at Comedy on State in Madison, Wisconsin, February 6th through the 8th. It's one of the best clubs in America. Come out to that, and I will also be at Levity Live, and I'll be in Baltimore in March. For more dates, check out paulvirzi.com. Thank you, Dom Lombardozzi, for being here. And thank you, Rocky, for our gifts. Take care, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
Rocky.
you.